Aloha and welcome, soul family, soul ohana. Welcome in. I am Kapualani, and I thank you so much for being here. I'm going to do one more tone here just to cleanse the space. All right. So, if this is your first time joining us, thank you so much for being here. If you do resonate with these messages, of course, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, all the things. And for those who have already subscribed, who've been following, supporting, liking, and commenting, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support, for your sacred presence here. So, let's get into the cards. Just keeping in mind that this is a timeless reading. At the end of the reading, I do offer a part two or an extended version of this where we just dive a little bit deeper into the messages, maybe get additional clarity, and it'll come up when we go into the reading, just anything additionally that we might cover in the extension. So as I shuffle the cards here, if you would like to take a moment to tune into your breath, breathing deeply in through the nose for a count of 4. And if you'd like, you can hold it at the top for a count of 4, and then exhaling for a count of 4. Take at least 3 to 4 deep, soothing, cleansing, healing breaths, in and out. And as you inhale, setting any goals, any intentions for our time together today. We've already got the 8 of Pentacles, so we're working on some things. We're finding some things, and as you exhale, giving thanks, gratitude, and appreciation to your higher self, your ancestors, ancient lineages, Mother Earth, Father Sky, God, Source, Creator, Spirit, Light, angels, and archangels. Okay. So we've got some really major shifts, really major energies, planetary alignments that we've recently cleared. We had the Taurus super full moon last week, a week ago, and I know this is timeless, but we've got some pentacles showing up, Page of Pentacles. So we're working towards some new beginnings. We're refining certain things so that we can understand what to do with these new beginnings is what I'm hearing. You know, it's not time yet to be reactive. We want to slow down. Pentacles works in, slower sort of pace. And so pace yourself. And before rushing off to try to start something new here, you want to almost retrace the work, the effort that you've already put in. So don't run away from anything. I know it may feel like that right now. There is a lot of this like sort of fight or flight energy that many are really trying to ground and clear from, because it has been very intense. But as I was saying, we had the super full moon recently, along with Saturn going direct, bringing some relief, but also, I just keep hearing it's been a real energetic purge on the collective level. And also, because I've been mentioning this, especially if you've been following me, but that shift from Pluto into Capricorn, Pluto into Aquarius. And so it's going to be a different sort of sensation. It's going to be opening up the way for some, I don't know why, but I'm hearing like revolutionary changes. And while that may not happen overnight, this is our opportunity, in the here and now to really sort of pay homage to what we've learned, where you have felt maybe stuck, and especially in this past 16 years, things that have been repetitive, negative, toxic, really difficult or straining cycles, karmic patterns, connections, relationships. All right. And not just, okay, what have you learned, that sort of thing, but acknowledging, the actions that were taken or the roadblocks that you may have hit, and just preparing for that to turn around. And not only that, but how have you changed? And again, I'm sorry to be repetitive, but what lessons have you learned, and what can you do differently, as the tide starts to turn? Okay, so getting a lot of downloads before we even get into the actual cards, but Spirit's having me reflect on that 8 of Pentacles, that Page of Pentacles that popped out. So there are some new beginnings. This is a time with the Page of Pentacles to be exploratory. Yes, try the new things, but it's almost like a sample platter, and I feel like as you're taste testing, so to speak, as you're giving things room to sort of feel it out, that's where you can go back with that Eight of Pentacles to look at the things that you've already worked on and completed, and what can you do to refine that. Okay, whether, because it's Pentacles, whether it has to do with your work, career, the efforts that you made in that regard, physically, with your health, for example, different things that you can do in terms of how you nurture yourself, how what you eat, your diet, that sort of a thing, as well as just physical exercise, or physical health care, wellness and well-being. How are you treating yourself physically, along the, how have you changed physically, and what are you happy with, what are you maybe not so happy with. And in terms of, again, that Page of Pentacles, starting to look at new ways of developing things, starting to look at new ways of bringing in money, starting to look at new ways of how to treat yourself, because we've had so many developments, not only in technology, but in terms of just discoveries and how we can work with ourselves, work on ourselves on a health level, physically, like my big thing has been fascia tissue movement, fascia tissue release, and therapies and things of that nature. And these are things that you can do at home, and they're very gentle. Another, example is like somatic exercises and things of that nature that you can just, things to help you to calm the cortisol levels, to shift out of that fight or flight, like I said, reactive state, so that you can rest better. You have easier time sleeping, for example, if sleep has been difficult. So again, sorry about that. A lot of downloads again before we get into the actual reading, but let's see nonetheless, Spirit, what do you have for us? For anyone who is watching this because they've been called to watch this, guided to watch this, what is the core message here? What is the core issue, the core topic? All right, look at that, the Knight of Wands. So this energy, the fire energy with the Knight of Wands, and not just, I guess, I say this often and maybe you hear others saying this. Forgive me, I saw 707 on the timer here for that angel number validation. Anyone interested, look it up. Leave it in the comments if you'd like. But I feel this energy of being in a rush, being in a hurry. So maybe there are some things that you're feeling a little bit short-tempered on, or I almost want to say short-sighted, but it's more like I get this energy of wanting to either rush into something, rush toward something, or flee from something, get away from something or someone, a situation. It doesn't have to be that, of course. But for some reason with this Knight of Wands, I don't know why, but I'm very present to like your blood rushing, and adrenaline pumping, for example, this desire to get a hold of your life force and the direction of your life. But as we can see here, this Knight is as much as this Knight is moving towards something, he's facing the past. And so I don't know if this is like needing, how should I put this, Spirit? Let me tune in here. Something has you potentially excited in a positive way, heated in a way where it's, again, about temperament, and again, just feeling like you're in a rush, or feeling like you don't have enough time, wanting to go back in time maybe to just address something. We were talking about a reflection and a review of things, and I did say, there may be some part of you, I believe I said it, that wants to kind of start something new, but it's more than that. We want to review and reflect upon, again, not just the lessons learned, the actions taken along the way. So you know how they say, like, when you kind of just go back and retrace your steps, so there may be this sort of rush to want to either like retrace your steps in order to move forward and onward. So let's get a little bit of clarity and validation around this, Spirit. What is this Knight of Wands? Some clarity on the Knight of Wands. What is this about? The Moon. Okay, so, trusting the intuition. Maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, with the wands. It is psychic intuition, or aside from the life force, psychic vision, creativity, creative energy, that life force energy. And again, there's a rush to maybe get out of the unknown, to escape the unknown, to no longer be in the unknown. Maybe you're tired of trying to, lean into your intuition. Maybe you're tired of dealing with just not knowing what's going on, what's happening, where you're going, where to place your focus. I get this energy here when the moon shows up, it is all about slowing down and feeling your way through something. Okay, so these energies here of the Knight of Wands and the moon, they're also indicative of energies that the past and things we are releasing and that nature. Water sign may be significant. Of course, we have the fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, with the Knight of Wands. That comes up, the moon energy. Water signs, of course, as I was saying, Scorpio, while we're just still barely going to be in Scorpio season, moving into Sagittarius as I air this reading, this session. So I've been saying it as well. There may have been a lot coming up for you during Scorpio season. If you're not a Scorpio yourself or surrounded by Scorpio energy, have that aspect in your chart, but also Cancer and Pisces energies with this moon, the lunar energy, just to throw that out there. There are certain things I feel like maybe hidden in the dark. Like, I don't know why, but I'm really drawn to the wolf and the dog, and that, of course, the scorpion here emerging from the water. And these are kind of, in essence of the like what these animal energies mean as signs. They tend to kind of indicate like the darker, the shadow aspect of things, the underbelly, and fearfulness and things like that. And so again, I almost want to say that this is a time to really air out your fears, but acknowledge it, not run away from it. There may be again this really strong fight or flight sort of energy and feeling, sensation coming up. So overall, where is this all leading up to? What is this leading up to, Spirit? What are some next steps that can be taken? This is a lot of cards, but you know what? I'm just going to go with it. Okay. We've got the Eight of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. And I wanted to look at this bottom, so the Empress energy. So there may be something dealing with like your inner world. Okay, we got another one. Wow, a bunch of other ones. Three of Cups, Seven of Cups, Ace of Wands. I'm going to put these back in. Well, I'll keep them on the side actually and put them here for now, just so that I can vibe on it with these cards. Yeah, you're ready to move on from things. Like I said, anything that's been sort of putting you in a place of fear, keeping you in a state of uncertainty or unknown, where you feel like you're in the dark, you don't know which way you're going, and so it's like you'd rather just move on from it. There's something that's, I feel like you've been trying to address it. I feel like you've been trying to deal with it. You've been trying to navigate, even though it's felt like maybe you've had the blinds on or something like that. And not that it's your fault or anything, not that it's a judgment, but again, it's like that feeling of being in the dark. There's this energy now that we're moving on. And so, right, the advice here, you kind of want to keep to yourself, focus on your foundations, focus on your future security, your future stability with this Queen of Pentacles. This is a time to really ground and to address again, I'm sorry, but I'm hearing the fight or flight type of thing, so that you can really acknowledge what are just like with the moon. And I'm not saying that you're delusional or imagining things, but what's being kind of stoked, what's stoking that fire in a way where it's just not necessary, where again, it's like probing the doubts and the fears and the uncertainty. And it's time to walk away from that. It's time to move on from that. There's something about that energy where, when we see the Eight of Cups, it is about moving on. It's about energy that's been stagnated, that you're like, you know what? There's nothing left here for me to do anything with. These chalices, sometimes when I see the Eight of Cups, I think of just and the energy of like, the wells run dry, so it's time to move toward fresh springs. Okay, so whatever it is that you've been working toward, that just has felt like you've been sort of hitting a block, or just constantly hitting a wall, or not gaining the clarity, not gaining the outcome, the solutions, whatever the case that you've been wanting, whether it has to do with career, whether it has to do with love, whether it has to do with anything internally, externally, whatever the case may be, because I do things in a general sort of way, and so it can align with any of those aspects of your life. So just kind of try to feel it out and see how that vibes with you. But again, you're ready to move on from it. Okay, this may be a time where it's about minding your money with the Four of Pentacles. We're not trying to grip too tightly, but I get the sense that for many right now, like with this Three of Cups, this Seven of Cups, and this Ace of Wands, what I'm seeing here is that whether or not you're walking away from people or experiences that are just not serving you, maybe you feel like, for some, not for everyone, but it feels like you're being ganged up on, like maybe there's some gossip behind your back or something like that, or people are trying to get you caught up in gossip and you're just walking away from it, you're done with it, you don't want to deal with it. Or if it's about a situation again where it's just, I don't know why, but I'm getting like with this Three of Cups, like a lot of this, I don't know if it's been feeling left out or feeling like just there's things going on that just don't vibe with you or something like that, and moving on from that. People that maybe you thought were your friends that aren't your friends, or people that you thought were not friendly to you that were maybe talking about you behind your back, but really they were maybe singing your praises in the meantime. I mean, there's something here where it could be like whatever it is that you haven't been aware of, we're moving on and we're going to be looking at things for what they are. But in order to do that, we really have to, wholeheartedly choose to walk away, choose to focus on what's real. Again, and not in the sense where we were not trying to like grip onto things, because the Four of Pentacles can be a card of insecurity, of course, but since we have this Queen of Pentacles, it's kind of saying keep to yourself right now. Keep to yourself. It doesn't mean to block other people out, but just recognize what is really worth your time, value, and energy in terms of how you invest that in others. Especially if right now you're really feeling a little bit worn out, and like again, you're wanting to just move on to better times, you're wanting to move on to better circumstances and situations, for example. And then when we saw like this Seven of Cups here, this Three of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and again this Ace of Wands. So there's a future that you're contemplating, the future that you're contemplating, or that you're at least wanting to start to focus on if you've been too distracted and unable to really sort of have clarity in terms of where to place that focus, okay? But it's coming up. And so part of it is like, again, action based. And it's not that you're supposed to just do all these things, but it's, I say this often, but one step at a time. Focus and channel your energy and get things aligned rather than scattering yourself, especially when we see these energies here. Okay, and what I'm also picking up on right now when I see these three cards, especially, I don't know why, but see how this feels for you, but I do feel that you're protected. Your ancestors are protecting you and watching over you. And whether maybe if you're not feeling this is a message for you from your ancestors that are letting you know that they have your back, they have your best interests at heart. And so maybe again, maybe if you haven't been experiencing the reality or the results that you were hoping for, that's no reason to give up. And it's not about continuing to try to plug away at something where, again, it feels like you just keep hitting a wall or you're just bumping your head against a wall in frustration or whatever. But it's about saying, okay, you know what, I've tried my best. And okay, obviously if this is just not going anywhere, then it's time for me to just focus on me. It's not about, okay, we're just gonna, like, for example, if it's love, right? And you've been trying and not getting where it's like, okay, time for me to focus on someone else. It can be, but I'm not getting that. It's about focusing on you, focusing on your stability, on your future, on how to reestablish right here, because we're moving on and we're trying to figure out how we're gonna reestablish our day to day. And so it's also about looking at healthy routines and habits. What are your day-to-day habits when you wake up in the morning, and you're operating throughout your day? And then when you're getting ready to go to sleep at night, that sort of thing, we need to look at those building blocks, because 4 again is that energy of foundation. And something here maybe wasn't very stable. Maybe there was a lot of movement. I get it, again, like you're wanting to just move on from things. It's like essentially maybe feeling like that need to run away. And that's not a judgment, because it happens to everyone. And especially, like I said, right now, collectively, there's just a lot. It's a lot that we're feeling. And even as we, do go through and pass that threshold of Pluto going into Aquarius from Capricorn, like, I don't know if you heard me say this, like, while there can be certain things where it's like, okay, boom, boom, this is going to be a 20-year cycle that we're looking at, Pluto in Aquarius. So it's going to take some time. We got to give ourselves some time to adjust, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so again, we're focusing on stability and taking a look at ourselves, ourselves and our ability to be responsible to ourselves. What is our responsibility to our day to day in order to establish, to maintain, and sustain a solid, stable, secure future, okay, from the ground up. And so again, it may be looking at your money, it may be looking at how you're earning money, how you're saving for money, how you're budgeting your money. And again, it also translates into your own physical health, wellness, and well-being, okay? And the other thing, again, I have to just point out is I feel, again, that this is a really good time to focus on you, all right? No matter what it is that's going on. And I'm not to say to just go and hermit yourself away and don't talk to your friends, don't talk to your family, don't talk to, like whoever, coworkers and all that kind of stuff. It's not that at all. But it's that you need to prioritize you. All right, before we can help anyone else, before we can do for anyone else, right, we've got to make sure that we are covered, that we can take care of ourselves. We're not in this space anymore, at least. If you've been in that sort of karmic energy of forgive the analogy, but like sacrificial lamb, or always been self-sacrificing, or always been feeling like you're at the losing end, this is that time to really hunker down and say, okay, what do I need to do for me to secure things for myself, me, myself, and I? And look, I got this. I felt like, just look at the bottom deck here, we got the Wheel of Fortune. So things are going to be turning around. Your fortunes will be shifting. All right, I love this energy. And look, I have to do this too because the other bottom card here, this 10 of Swords. So, 2121 on the timer as I, was looking at this energy. Again, we're closing out and clearing cycles, 1010. Those cycles of hardship, especially when it's like, again, you're racking your brain, to figure out what to do, where to go, what step to take. Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like, the wheels are just continue to spin and spin and spin. That's coming to an end, okay? That's closing out. You're going to be gaining clarity, all right? Because after that 10 energy, right, it's what? 1 that we have, right? The aces. And so that's about having a discerning direction when it comes to the swords. Okay, so Spirit, how can we close this out? Where is this? What is the outcome here? The outcome energy of taking care of ourselves, focusing on all that good stuff. We're getting, we're clearing out of these cycles of illusion, delusion, neuroses, hardship, not knowing, wanting to run away and flee the scene constantly, of just, being afraid to address what's there, or even if we aren't afraid to address what's there, still feeling like we're at a loss, So Spirit, what is that closing guidance, the outcome energy that we're looking at here? So you got 5 of Cups. So it may be a little bit difficult. We are moving on. We're going to be in a space of healing, okay? Emotional healing. But that doesn't come without a little bit of, I don't know, I guess hardship is coming to mind on a reflective level where it's like regret, right? Because the 5 of Cups, the 8 of Cups and the 5 of Cups, sometimes it's like, all right, let's not take for granted that there's still good that's ahead. You may be a little sore. Might feel a little sore about certain things, losses that, like I said, maybe certain things didn't go your way. Or even if it did, like with the 5 of Cups, maybe it wasn't lasting, maybe it didn't stick or gel as you had wanted. But this is where mentally and, in this case with the King of Swords, we're going to be strong, self-disciplined. You've got a Queen and a King. The Knight with fire, Queen of Earth, King of Air. Okay, so a lot of this sort of mental discipline is going to help in terms of, because I feel like, like if you're watching this, you're very well aware that there's still joy, there's still fulfillment, there's still some form of happiness for you to look ahead, in the future. But it's just one of those things where it's like, again, it's like you wish you could go back in time and undo certain things from the past. You wish you could have a little bit of a do-over here, is what I'm feeling. And so part of it, aside from just the acceptance, is saying, okay, you know what? That King of Swords is really going to be fair with the self and with others. There's an air of indifference, Okay, we're taking a look at things again for what they are, the Queen of Pentacles, in terms of what I can see, hold, and touch here. And at the same time, we're not just being like heartless and emotionless, right? Especially with the Five of Cups. We've got some cups here, we've got the moon here. There's a lot that could be stirred up emotionally, but we're going to overcome, again, the fears and the doubts. How? By being mentally disciplined and remembering that things are in a constant state of flux and transformation. All right, that what is happening right now isn't what's going to be happening forever. I also get, because we've got this King of Swords, and I'm not trying to leave these other cards out with the signs. Okay, Earth, we've got, of course, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energies influencing. And then, with the Chalice, as I said, the signs earlier, but now this King of Swords, Aquarius, right? The Pluto going into Aquarius energy. Hello. And also, of course, the Libra and Gemini energies. So if those are in your chart anywhere, or if you have any of those personalities around you, or that this could be identifying, just sort of keep that in mind. But again, this is about self-discipline and, not allowing for any disappointments to get you down, not allowing for, again, what didn't work out to stop you from being responsible to yourself, responsible to your future, and taking the actions accordingly. So it's like when I think of the King of Swords, I think of strategy, I think of planning, and so working on things from that level, all right, and understanding that it may take time, to heal, to feel better, to feel fulfillment again, to feel like, okay, yes, this is worth it, and I'm not having to constantly look back over my shoulder. And so there's going to be a little bit of this. Like I said, this shift from Pluto into Aquarius, it may not just be some quick overnight thing that happens in terms of, okay, I'm over it now, I've learned, and blah blah blah, I know what to do now. But we're working toward that. Okay, we're working toward that. There is joy, there is more for you, there's more to come. All right. And like I said, and part of the way to get there is, number one, we're focusing on ourselves, our own responsibilities, how to stabilize and secure our reality here and now, and moving into the future. Like, okay, what in the actions that I take today, what is that ripple effect? What's that going to look like on a physical, tangible level? Again, whether it's health or money. Okay, it's time to it's time to move on from the fear of that. Like how sometimes people, they ignore certain health matters, or they ignore certain financial matters and just kind of wish it away. It doesn't work like that. It's about, sometimes you really do just have to deal with something head on. And that's what this King of Swords is about. It's like, don't be afraid to take charge and to deal with something head on. Again, things may not have gone the way that you'd like, but in order for you to get to the other side, this is where we start. And it's very foundational. Okay, this isn't something where Spirit's like, oh, we're going to be grasping at straws here for a little bit. And I'm being drawn to look at the bottom card, as I often am and do, but this Two of Wands, I like this. And this Two of Wands, I love seeing it because it's very similar and just additional guidance. What can we do here? We can focus on just that horizon, but saying, okay, what are the more short-term immediate steps that I need to take and prepare for in order to get to that horizon? Knowing that, one step will reveal the next at times. I feel this as a card of optimism. I feel this as an energy of, hey, you know what? Looking back, don't be too hard on yourself, because even though there may have been, right? There may have been things that you, again, regrets. There could be feelings of losses, whether it's relationships, whether it's, opportunities, whether you actually have recently experienced the death of a loved one, even if it was within the past 16 years, because, this past 16 years, that was the cycle of Pluto in Capricorn, for example. And so it may even have been something recent. There have been a lot of transitions, all right, just even within the last month of, you know what I mean? Like me personally, I've had that, and then friends and you know what I mean? People, like friends of mine and things like that, not to bring anybody's stuff in here, but I'm just saying, so if you have had any of those kinds of experiences, I just want you to know, that you are definitely not alone, and that there's a lot of shared compassion. There's a lot of shared love and support going around, okay, in that regard as well. So even if you are like having to go through this alone, please do energetically, just kind of call out to those who are in that soul group, soul collective, to really just call in again that support. And so you never know how that support will manifest or what will come through, even if it's just, when you pass by a stranger on the street and they say something very uplifting and kind, to you. So just throwing that out there rather, because it's just the messages that I'm getting from spirit. So I hope that this has made sense so far. And let's transition into the animal spirit cards. And by the way, as a reminder again, we're going to do an extension to this and see what else spirit has to say. Maybe dive into some timings here of what we can look like, what you can expect, in terms of, okay, I got to be self-disciplined, but what is that all leading me up to? And, just anything that you're not seeing, like what are you not seeing? What's around the corner, things of that nature. And again, possible timings of things in terms of like recovery. Like when can we expect to see some recovery from this stuff? When can we expect to see some positive news on the horizon? Okay. And so, okay, spirit, let's get into again the animal spirit card here, animal spirit guide. The advice for us today from the animal spirits right away. Ooh, I love it. Okay, I wasn't going to say this. I was focusing on the little rabbit here, the brown rabbit that shows up with the Queen of Pentacles. And then we've got rabbit. Okay, so there's fertility that rabbit symbolizes. All right, so we've got fertility. I feel also new life. Sometimes, we'll see what the cards reveal, but I do get that energy with like new life, things moving rapidly. Sometimes rabbit energy, in some traditions can be about not calling out your fears. Like, the more that you call out your fears, the more that you kind of like attract that energy, or you know what I'm trying to say, attract experiences that cause you to like that cause you those fears to be triggered, or cause you to have to like deal with them head on. So let's actually get the book out here, my little animal spirit guide. And by the way, for those who are new, you can find these decks in my Amazon storefront in my profile if you're interested. Okay, if that's something that you want to look into. This would be the holographic Rider-Waite deck, AE holographic. So let me find you, rabbit. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Afraid of everything, overwhelmed, frozen. Like I said, there's fears, right? We're having to move past fears. So let's dive into this. And if you'd like to take a screenshot, you're welcome to. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop. Yep, I know this story. That's kind of what I was going toward. Swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future. And when we're speaking about that, feeling insecure about the future, but like, how do we overcome that? By focusing on where we are empowered, even though we might be feeling disempowered. Okay, and we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words. Oh, rabbit, they shape your destiny. So let's see, when we're in balance with these energies, we are sensitive, we are problem solving, and we're good listeners. When we're out of balance, we over explain, we talk fast. So to bring this energy into balance, have a day of silence. Okay, and I kind of feel that when I look at the King of Swords, like silence, and again, self-discipline in the mind, right? Clear the mind, clear the mental, all right? Especially if things have been really difficult, straining, draining, and so forth. All right, so I'm going to wrap up here, but before we go, just a little reminder, and let me know, you guys, if this is still feeling good with me doing the angel answers in part 2. I'll see what spirit calls for or what comes up. Maybe I'll bust out another, I don't know, I can't promise that just yet, obviously, but we'll see what happens when we transition into the part 2 here, but we will go to some yes/no questions or question. So if you would like to dive into the extension, okay, you can find the link in the comments. Otherwise, go to kapualani.com/extensions. And it's also in the description of this video. Okay, so the link for that. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give us a quick tone just to close things out. and I will see you in the extension, or I will see you next time on, oh, before I forget, I posted a new all signs zodiac reading. Those are timeless as well. So if you haven't yet caught that video, if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to go check it out. Let me know what you think. Check out all your aspects, your sun, moon, rising, especially. But if it speaks to you, Venus, North Node, all, just whatever vibe. So again, thank you so much for being here, for your presence. Till next time, take care.